Managing the misery. I mean, our schools seem to be focused on pushing the left's ideology onto the kids. I mean, the months of voice campaigning in our schools is one example. Our kids walking out of class to march in pro-Palestine protests. So this woke virtue signalling, Keith, surely is getting in the way of teaching our students key basics.
It is, and you only need to look at the results I mentioned, the international testing, plus NAPLAN, the national one. Liberal and Labor governments have spent additional billions on education over the last 20 years, but standards have either flatlined or gone backwards. And I've actually written an article for the Daily Telegraph tomorrow, and I talk about the fact, as you said, that many schools now, it's not all schools, there are some good schools, some very good teachers, but we've got too much in the curriculum, which is about climate change, gender fluidity, about Aboriginal culture. Children, they're not taught about patriotism, about acknowledging the benefits of Western culture. They're not taught about the fact that Australia is such a successful Western liberal democracy. They're taught what Geoffrey Blainey, the great historian, called the black armband view. And so that's part of the problem. The other problem is that if you're spending all your time in the classroom teaching all of this woke ideology, you're not focusing on the basics, and you're not giving children a grounding in an education which is morally, spiritually, and intellectually uplifting. So there are two issues there that have to be addressed: the woke curriculum, and we're not teaching enough about Western culture and why we should celebrate it.
You know, Kevin, when you get a state government school in suburban Brisbane, where the kids go into the classroom chanting "always was, always will be" Aboriginal land, whereas we used to say we love our flag, we love our country, those sorts of things, it seems schools now are more about the teachers and activists being employed than the kids actually being educated. I mean, good dedicated teachers can't stand any of this either.
You're right, and it's also the subject associations and a lot of academics. I mean, you talked about the Voice, the English Teachers Association. They said they told English teachers to go back in the classroom and to teach children to say yes to the Voice, to go home to their parents, explaining why the Voice was such a great thing. So subject associations like the, in New South Wales, the Teachers Federation, the Australian Education Union, they have a very cultural left, woke ideology. They're pushing gender fluidity on schools. They're teaching young boys, and there were two examples in Sydney and Melbourne where young boys were told to stand up in front of everyone and to apologise for being male. The idea is that male, if you're male, you're a problem. You're misogynist. You're not to be trusted. And so we're giving young people the completely wrong idea. And as I mentioned in the paper tomorrow, we have some of the highest rates of teenage self-harm, depression, even suicide, especially with young men. And part of the problem here is that they've gone through an education system which is very bleak, very negative. There's nothing to hold on to. And you sometimes wonder, you know, how our parents and grandparents got through the Second World War, the Depression, the Second World War, economic crisis. I mean, they were taught to be proud of their country, to be resilient, and to join together as a community. You only have to look at what's happening on our streets with children, teenagers chanting from the river to the sea. The nation is in danger of becoming fragmented, and what Geoffrey Blainey said, a nation of tribes.
No doubt about it. Kevin Donnelly, always good to talk with you.